Hi everybody, Ty Lord here with a pickups video. Mostly movies, a couple of games I want to discuss first. Didn't watch that many movies this week. Didn't really have time. Tried to play a few games. Um, Going to the gym every day for an hour kind of cuts into my video game time. So while at the gym, I can either watch a movie. Like when I do cardio, I can watch like up to an hour of a movie. So I can't watch it all in one sitting. Then when I get home, I can watch the rest, but sometimes I'm too tired. And a lot of times I just I just save the rest of the movie for the next day because I want to play some games. But I did play a few games and I got a new game. Actually, I'll start off on Xbox Live, or what? No, Xbox Game Pass. My wife and kids play that all the time. I finally started playing a game on Game Pass. A new game just came out. It was on that Xbox Direct or whatever. It's called Hi-Fi Rush. It's like a really stylish, cel-shaded action hack and slash adventure game, but based on rhythm, sort of like a musical rhythm-based game, but it's a hack and slash. And I saw that on the trailer for it. I may have seen it on the Xbox Live Direct, whatever it's called. And what kind of interested me about it was Shinji Mikami's company did it, so that kind of piqued my interest in it. Shinji Mikami that did Resident Evil 4 and I think Resident Evil 1. He produced most of the Resident Evil games up through 4. Evil Within, Vanquish, a bunch of games I like. But I guess that was his company. I don't know if he had a hand in it or not. But it looked interesting. That cel-shaded look never ages. Like when you look at the old games like Wind Waker or Jet Set Radio or Okami, all those games, they don't age, or they age very well, that art style. So this game is that cel shade game, but it's new generation, so it looks like super crisp. It looks like an animated cartoon. It looks like a 2D cartoon, but it's actually 3D. So nice looking game. I'm sure this game will age well in many years to come. The look of it, that cel shaded kind of futuristic, cyberpunky, but not dark, kind of like a bright, colorful, happy game. Kind of reminds me of something that would have been on Sega Dreamcast or something. And it kind of takes me back to that fifth generation, like something I would have played back then on Xbox or GameCube. Only way better graphics. Kind of a simple game, but a lot of intricate things going on with like the music and the rhythm. Everything goes to a beat, like whether it's the obstacles in the game or the enemies, the way they attack. So if you move with the beat, it's more beneficial. If you do combos with the beat, it's more beneficial. The main little guy is this little wannabe rock star guy. He kind of reminds me of Marty McFly, so that's kind of why I was interested in the character. But he's more of a clown. Like Marty McFly was kind of a stud for like a little guy and a young kid. Like he was a pretty smooth little kid. This guy's kind of like a mixture of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo and Marty McFly. And then there's all kinds of goofy bosses and goofy side characters. He runs into like a hot chick with a robot leg. He has a robot arm, and he has an electric guitar he uses for his weapon. Like it accumulates out of all this metal, kind of like Iron Man or something. I don't know. Anyway, so that Hi-Fi Rush, I just played the first tutorial level of it. Maybe I spent about 20 minutes on it, and it was all pretty entertaining so far. So hopefully I can keep going with that. Well, I babbled on about that for a while. That's not even a physical copy. Speaking of, I don't know if I should transition into this one or that one. I'll stay with the Game Pass games. GoldenEye finally was released on Game Pass. The original GoldenEye N64 version, and I don't know how this came to be. It's a miracle. I don't know who owns the Bond license, and Rare has a hand in it. Nintendo has a hand in it. Whoever owns the Bond license. So I was never expecting this to get re-released as it was. It seems to be the same game. Maybe the resolution's better and it's widescreen and all that. I don't care about that stuff. GoldenEye, yeah. So everyone was hyped for many years. Ever since I can remember, everyone's wanted a re-release for this, and now like everyone's complaining about it. Maybe because there's no physical copy. I would like a physical copy, or maybe because a lot of people are worried that new kids are not gonna like it because it's the way it looks, and it's not it's not the typical modern first-person control. So you have to do a bunch of adjustments to get it to set up like that. But I don't know. But anyway, I was telling my wife, like, people complaining about the controls on this old one. You can actually play it like a modern game. Like I play this game no problem with the boomerang or whatever it's called, the tripod N64 controller, because I hold it. I hold the thumbstick. The thumbstick's made for looking, right? But everyone wants to use that to move. But if you use that to look, you got a trigger back there to shoot, and then the D-pad, you can use that to move. So you can control it just as you would any modern game with the left side of the N64 controller. I've never had a problem with it. That was like, you could play how we play modern games now. You could have played this game like that way back then if you just used the left side of the N64 controller. So that made me go back and play this. So I've actually only been playing this, and I hate to admit this, but I've never really been into this game. Being a huge Bond fan, you know, I'm a Bond fanatic, and but this game I just never really got into. I don't know why. I got into it after, like, on the PlayStation, like Agent Under Fire and on. I just played the heck out of all of those games. These games back then, I don't know why I never spent much time with them. I played some multiplayer with my brother. I maybe played a couple levels, but I honestly never beat these games, and I don't know why. There's so many Bond references to the movie series I like in here, like Man with a Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me. There's actually even my brother-in-law gave me this game, and he has everything unlocked, every cheat, all those hard-to-get cheats. He has them all unlocked, every level. At the end of the game, there's a game based on classic Bond, or is a levels based on Moonraker. There's a Moonraker level, like that's one of my favorite movies of all time, and there's a level based on Moonraker in this, with the Moonraker, the Moonraker henchmen are in it, and Jaws is in it. There's the laser guns. There's a shuttle going off. There's sets from Moonraker. So man, just having a game with a Moonraker level is just amazing. And there's Spy Who Loved Me references in here. Baron Samedi is in here from Live and Let Die. A lot of classic Bond characters, Odd Job, of course. But getting back to the game, like, it plays so wonderful. I don't think kids are going to have a problem with this because it's so fast-paced and never lags out. And there's always a million enemies on the screen. And it's so fast-paced. And pretty big environments for N64. I don't know if it's just because I have the expansion pack. I don't know if this is expansion pack enabled or not. But either way, like, there's pretty big environments with a lot of enemies, and you can even get at a tank in one level and drive it around and get out of the tank. Yeah, way ahead of its time. I guess I never really appreciated this back then, but playing this the last couple of nights, like, wow. I might have to add this to my games beat in 2023. I know I'm ashamed to say I've never beaten it, but a lot of it's kind of confusing, the objectives and stuff. Like, maybe modern kids might have trouble with it, but all these other hard games kids play now, like Dark Souls and stuff, like, people underestimate how smart kids are. Like, back then, kids were smart too, but if kids passionate or thinking enough about something, they can get through stuff. So I don't know what this big argument is, like kids don't want to play something because they're not smart enough. Probably these little kids figure out everything. Okay, getting back to I was talking about Shinji Mikami. Resident Evil 4 is my favorite game of all time, and I had to order this one off of eBay with a gift certificate I had, or a gift card I had. Biohazard Revival Selection HD. So I have a physical copy of Resident Evil 4 on PlayStation 3 now. It comes with Code Veronica, which is not one of my favorites, but I should give it another try. I guess it's enhanced. I was watching Toro Loco from Fancy Action Now play this, and he was pointing out there was a lot of differences and enhancements to this version, which is interesting. It's all in Japanese. Not all of it. A lot of the text is in Japanese, but I know this game in and out, so it won't affect me. But all the dialogue and most of the display and everything's in English. It plays on all of our, I think PlayStation 3 is region free. So I had to have my favorite game of all time. This is probably one of the only physical copies I didn't have of Resident Evil 4. So happy to have that. I'm gonna try to stream this. I don't have any equipment to do that. I'll probably just point my camera. But I've never played through a game like and completed it on a stream ever. I think maybe that that Double Dragon hack, but that was like a short game. So I'll probably I might want to play this on my PS3 and stream it. I can probably get through it pretty fast. It doesn't have I was hoping it would let you start at hard difficulty or professional, but it, just like every other Resident Evil 4, you got to play it first on normal and then unlock professional. I always played on professional every time. Just so not that it's that hard. I don't really notice much difference. I just don't want it to ruin my Resident Evil 4 game, make me weaker at Resident Evil. Even though there's not really much difference, but I always like to play it on professional. But I'll have to play it through on normal once again, and then play it on professional. Anyway, that's it for the game talk. On to the movies. I picked up some good ones at Rasputin's today. First of all, I found another Hercules movie I'm going to send to my buddy Aaron from Aaronetic. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. He covers everything Hercules and Xena. Has a lot of Bruce Lee content and Tekken content. If you're interested in that, I'll leave a link. But I've been anytime I find Hercules stuff, I'll send it to him. I got to get back into this show. I'm not really a TV show watching guy, but I would kind of like to go back and watch this because I enjoyed. Off and on, I would watch it like in high school. These are all the pretty ladies in here. I remember I complained that Kevin Sorbo didn't have a beard because all of the other Hercules had beards, like Steve Reeves and Lou Ferrigno. And every time you see a picture of Hercules, he has a beard, or the guy from Jason and the Argonauts. But I gotta go back. I see Lucy Lawless is in this, but she plays a different character. And what's his? Anthony Quinn is in it. I should go try to watch these again, but I'll be sending that to Aaron. Here's one that I didn't have on anything, and I didn't have it on Blu-ray or DVD or anything. Dante's Peak with Pierce Brosnan and Linda Hamilton. Kind of a cool disaster adventure movie. And the thing is about this movie is I was up in Idaho when they were filming this movie. It was filmed in a little town called Wallace. I can't forget if it's like a silver mining town. It's way up in Idaho, very northern Idaho, and in a very foresty area, very beautiful area up there. And my grandparents lived maybe an hour, half hour from this town. When I was a kid, I would stay up there in the summertime. And my grandma and her buddy, this other little old lady, I can't remember her name, but she was an extra in this movie. And my grandma would drive her to Wallace like every day. And she got to meet the cast and everything. And she said, I wish I would have, I was kind of like in my late teens at the time, so I thought I was too good to be a fanboy, but I would love to go and meet Pierce Brosnan, James Bond himself, and Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor herself, but I don't know. But the whole town was totally altered. There was a fake freeway built that was smashed. There was smashed cars everywhere. The whole movie, the whole town was like one big movie set. It had fake trees. I guess that time of year. Oh no, it was the summertime. So, but I guess the leaves were all fake on the trees because they look better on film or whatever. Like the whole town was set up as like a movie set. It was pretty awesome. Because we would go there and look at the shops and whatever a lot. But my grandma would and her buddy would go over there, and her buddy was an extra. I guess he was saying how sweet they are, the production and the actors. He said Linda Hamilton was super nice, but she was a smoker. Like she was always like chain smoking all the time. And she said Pierce Brosnan actually. I wish I remember the nice old lady's name. That was my grandma's friend. But she, I guess, Pierce Brosnan. One day on set when she was an extra, it was her birthday. And somehow Pierce Brosnan caught wind of that, so he came up and found her and gave her a hug and said, "Happy birthday." So it's just cool. Yeah, anyway, back to the movie though. Disaster volcano movie. So lava, disaster, destruction, earthquakes and all that. Linda Hamilton and Pierce Brosnan. So I thought I would just get that so I could share that story. These are 50 cents. Here's another one that has a personal backstory with me. Under Siege 2, kind of a cool movie, like these early Seagal movies. This one, I remember this was, this is a movie I didn't really watch because it was when my wife was my girlfriend and she would come over and we would just make out on the couch all day long and this movie was playing. So So I don't think we even watched the movie, but this is always our go-to joke about, let's watch Under Siege 3. That means we're going to make out. So this is like background for when you have your significant other over. And I don't really remember the movie much. I remember it was a pretty cool, like Die Hard on a train. And Seagal's in it, of course. Yeah, I remember Everett McGill was in it from Twin Peaks and License to Kill. He was one of the main thugs. Katherine Heigl was in it. I was thinking, what's his name was in this? That old actor. Anyway, have that now. Here's one. I had to pick this up. I've never seen it at Rasputin's before, and I haven't seen the movie, but Mr. Physical Media Mac was did a review on it and was talking about it and picked it up. Space Marines. There's a nice clean VHS copy, and I've never found this on DVD. I want to watch it. I'm hoping it's on Tubi so I can get back to you on this, but the way you described it, it sounded really cool. It's got Meg Foster in there with the pretty blue eyes. She's one of my favorite like B-movie actresses who's really underrated. Oh, it's like a heist, a deep space heist movie. It's like terrorist action in space movie. But I got to get back to you on that one. And here I think is the pickup of the day. I've been looking for this movie on DVD, but I'll have to settle VHS. The Good Times release of Hard Times with Charles Bronson and James Coburn. A fantastic Walter Hill movie. I think this is one of his earlier movies, Walter Hill, or maybe his first one. Really cool, kind of like a hustling street fight movie. Really good. A lot of movies have tried to been like this ever since. I don't know if any of them are as good. There's a lot of good ones, but this was like the first one I can think of. James Coburn's kind of like a con man hustling. This guy's the best fighter anyone's ever seen. Really quiet. Charles Bronson like never talks, very rarely. Whenever he says something, he's gonna do it. It's very rare that he talks. But he's a super good fighter. He wins all these street fights. He gets James Coburn as a manager. All kinds of cool fights in this movie, cool fight venues. This was like a 70s movie, 75, same year as Jaws. Great year for movies. Yeah, all kinds of cool fight venues that they've actually inspired Street Fighter, the video game. There's an area he fights. Oh, I can't think of that actor's name right now. The big bald guy. He was in. I can't believe I forgot that guy's name. He was in The Deep, and he was in Star Crash, and he was in Cannonball Run, and A Sword and the Sorcerer. That big buff bald guy. He fights him in this area that looks like Zangief's stage from Street Fighter, and then he fights a guy on a dock that looks like there's a tugboat back there. It looks like the Kin stage from Street Fighter. Yeah, cool Walter Hill movie. Cool fights, cool plot, cool setting. It's like in the Great Depression. It's set back in the day. It's like in the South too. It's really cool setting, cool like period piece. Was it the Great Depression or was it shortly after? It's been a while since I've seen this. I got to get back to you on that. Oh man, is that it? Yeah, that's it. Just when I started getting some momentum there. Yeah, okay. See you guys next week. I'll try to start streaming that Resident Evil 4. I can't promise anything though. My kids are going to be here today. They usually go visit Granny Grandpa today, but they'll be home, so it'll be hard to do it with the kids. Anyway, I'll get back to you guys later.